It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Remark. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Reagan.
I am the other host, Kristin Finger. Well, gang, we are in for a treat. We have a very special guest because we know people and we're very important. On this special episode of Remark, we have a star of one of the Hallmark films, Holiday for Heroes, Will Rubio.
I don't know, just in case, I'll wave my hands.
You are on camera. You're on camera. This is amazing. Will, thank you for being here. My first question for you is, how did you get this magical part?
I have friends. I went, I guess, I mean, that's how I get a lot of the things that I'm in, but I went to school in Utah at BYU, and I met the film community in Utah, oddly enough, is pretty substantial. They have a lot of productions there. They have a solid film incentive. And because of that, as I was graduating college in advertising and slowly realizing that that was just a pushing down of what I really wanted to do, and was like, okay, then maybe I should start taking production classes and getting involved in the film community. You know, all those neuroses we have to go through as creators. Oh, yeah. But I started meeting people, and comedy sports honestly was a huge thing for me because I met these amazing talented people who have since gone on to make films. And one of those is McLean Nelson and Claire Niederprum. They are married, and we did comedy sports, but also another group called Thrillionaires, where it was like genre-based musical improv.
Oh, cool.
And we made some awesome things, and from there, I've gone on to make an improv show called Show Offs on BYUtv, which sounds like a university channel, but it's actually a network. I also have another show on there called Random Acts. It's like a kind-hearted prank show where we set people up that are nominated, and we do really nice things for them and surprise them.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's great.
So just that community McLean and Claire got involved with some people from Hallmark and had the opportunity to make a film before that. And then they got on board in different capacities for this one. And they're like, hey, you have to audition. There's a great role for you. And I did, and then I got it. So it's just little connections along the way that made that possible.
Okay, so they, going into this, they were like, Will is Luke Montgomery,
small town realtor.
So you guys knew, because I know there are various ways Hallmark films come to be. You knew while you were filming this it was going to be a Hallmark film. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We did. But there are oftentimes production companies that will produce these films in the kind of formulaic Hallmark pattern, with the understanding that they're either going to sell it to Hallmark or a channel. But oftentimes, I mean, there's such a need and desire for these films that I think Hallmark does, in fact, buy a lot of them. And oftentimes when you start a production like that, you have some kind of in or connection for distribution.
So knowing it was going to be Hallmark, is it a different feel? Is there, I don't know how to word it, not restrained, but obviously Hallmark has a very, a code of ethics that they kind of follow. Is that feel on the set while you're filming?
Expand what you mean by code of ethics.
They're very.
How much dirt do you want?
No, I'm not looking for dirt. I'm just saying, is that felt? Is there almost are there production notes that come out that choice? It was great, but maybe a little too Lifetime, not Hallmark enough.
I would say the short answer is yes, and every Hallmark production has a creative producer, which is a fairly unique position. That the creative producer, along with the myriad of other producers and the director, essentially has the network's interest in mind as it gets made. So they're in charge of not only story notes to make sure that it's flowing and that it makes sense and then has that, trademark Hallmark syrup, but also that things like that are taken into account. Like,
did you know that you were the villain in this film while you were filming it? Because to me, you may not have thought that, but I think that Luke was the villain.
Here's the truth. Like, I think when I read the sides for the auditions and stuff, he had kind of a slightly more active role in being that kind of like third peg of the triangle.
Yeah.
And he was neutered a little bit, I think, for one reason or another. But yeah, and it was exciting to me. I was like, I want the fact that I could even be considered to be the third peg of any kind of love triangle was like this huge compliment to me. And I was like, give me that.
Have you ever been recognized? Because, like, again, Hallmark fans can be rabid, and the villains are villains to them. So have you ever been recognized in a, I guess just in general out in public?
Yes. People are rabid about their Hallmark movies. And so I've been recognized for this significantly. The only thing more than this is probably like this business streamlining video series that I did called Vital Smarts that still plays to this day at companies all over the world. Like 15 years later. And so I'll get text about like, oh, I saw you at my business meeting or whatever. But Hallmark is like a close second because people love it. There and again, I wish I was more villainy because then you want people to have some emotional hating or loving. Yeah.
Before you filmed this, had you ever watched like a lot of these movies, or were you ever interested? Or
yes, in the sense that like I've watched a few of these. Like, was I a rabid fan, just like consuming them like you guys? I don't know if I reached that level.
Who could be?
We're the extreme.
Absolutely. But I think there was definitely an understanding, like throughout the years, you kind of have that joke of the formula of a Hallmark film that everybody kind of like chides a little bit, but at the same time, they're like, you love it because it is this story, this tale as old as time that we love,
Yeah. And it's going to end out, very positive. There's going to be a happy ending. You mentioned Claire and McLean, and your improv background. Is there any degree of improvisation that goes on while you're filming, or is it strictly, we've got a schedule, stick to the script, let's go?
Oftentimes these particular productions, I believe this one was Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. Mm-hmm. And I believe Hallmark has flagship productions, like this is a big one, and the budget is slightly higher for those, and they may have like 4 or 5 of those Hallmark big ones, big marketing push of those. But then there are smaller ones, essentially. Those smaller ones go on Movies and Mysteries. I think they have another channel as well. Mm-hmm. So all that to say that production is probably 3 weeks at most. And so it's kind of a churn and burn situation to a degree with these films. So there's not a ton of room to like explore and take time on a lot of these scenes. But of course, as improvisers, you're always going to like get a little thing in. And in fact, it made me feel real good. The editor on this particular film kept contacting Claire and saying, "Oh, I love this Luke character because he always gives these like funny little quips and whatever that he liked to use within the movie." So I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's great."
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's like the best compliment to like when you get to improvise in something and someone keeps that instead of what was written. Like you're like, "Oh, you're welcome."
Yeah.
I got a bump for that, or
Is that in the titles as well, the credits?
You write a byline? Yeah, I'll take it.
Will, what's a day look like? So you're talking about a 3-week shoot, or at least a condensed shoot. What's a day look like for you on set?
This one was shot in Connecticut.
Okay.
In February of last year, not 2020, thank goodness, but 2019, during the polar vortex. I don't know if you recall, there was like a few days that went down below this crazy level. And so it was definitely cold some days on set. But we stayed in a hotel that was close to set for a lot of the scenes. There was like this iconic, Hallmark type town.
Yeah.
And so they're fairly regular film days. I think I was number 4 or 5 on the call sheet, and the 1s and 2s are going to be involved every day.
Yeah.
So obviously, every Hallmark film, the 1 is the lady, and then the 2 is the.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they know their.
One is the lady. I like it.
The ladies.
It's the
But
lady.
this particular production, this one was interesting.
Was it the fun? I think the fun part is like because a lot of these holiday ones they film in the summer, so the snow is not snow; it's like cotton, and it's like they're not cold; they're actually really hot because they're in like 90 layers of pea coats. But you guys were actually freezing. So.
We were freezing a lot of the time, and I'm grateful that we got to dress up and be warm, but there's a lot of coldness. But again, there's always a place for you to kind of hang out, offset, and do that. But overall, this particular crew, and a lot of that depends on the director and the producer, which in this case were 2 of my really good friends.
Right.
So there's this, and I'm sure it's very similar on their sets, but also on Hallmark sets where there's just a general feeling of we're making something fun, we're making something up good and cheery, and it's not this kind of dark, drab place. So I had a lot of fun just getting to know everybody. But just in general, being on a film set, I mean, that's kind of why a lot of people do it. It's for that kind of camaraderie and feel when you're making something.
So since this took place like up in Connecticut in an actual cute town, was the cafe someone's cafe that they turned into like this branded cafe for the movie?
Yes, it was a regular cafe, and they just brought like all things red and green in there and decked it out. In fact, I think they had to like take some stuff out because they're like, this is a lot of red and green.
Wow.
It was great though. Oh, really? This is probably the most important question we could possibly ever ask. But is there actual hot chocolate in the hot chocolate?
Yeah. Yes. Great question. Yeah.
When you have to carry it around and pretend that you're drinking things.
Oh, and which? Yes, I believe so. In which scene? The one where the hot chocolate competition, or the one where we're all
like the eggnog. Like, what were you drinking? What was that? The eggnog competition where you're like, ooh. Was that eggnog?
I think. Well, yes and no. It's probably some. That wasn't particularly for consumption because as you drink. You don't want to drink too much because consistency, and you're doing multiple takes from different angles and stuff. So you want it to kind of stay the same. So you'll do that. And if it goes too low, they'll add something, but it is consumable. It's not like toxic.
See, we've noticed in a lot of these films, if it's a styrofoam cup with a lid, that they have nothing in it. And people just kind of like wave it all over and you're like, your coffee would be everywhere.
Yeah. I think it depends honestly on the actor. I don't think that's an intentional choice, but like some people, they either forget or they don't.
Yeah. But it's just like one of those sort of improv bits of like when you're drinking something, you don't drink it like this because it would spill all over you, like that.
And then it disappears anyhow. When the scene takes off, that cup's gone, and you're just like, what?
Litter. Yeah.
That's amazing. So do you think because of your sweet connections, you'll get to do another one someday?
Yeah. I mean, currently, since that one, McLean and Claire have either creative produced or directed, I don't know, 4 or 5 more, including one in Iceland, Love in Iceland. And there's one coming out called Christmas in Vienna that my buddy Jake.
That was last night.
That was last night.
Oh, was it? Oh, I'll have to congratulate him. Yeah, my buddy Jake creative produced that one. So yeah, there's like a few of I have several people involved in the Hallmark world. So fingers crossed, I think I'll definitely get in there in some capacity.
That is the coolest. Kevin and I are just so starstruck.
It is amazing. I mean, we've been watching them for years and years, and I think I've equated it to people like watching professional wrestling, where when I first started watching, 100% it was to make fun of stuff. And then it got its claws in me, and then I couldn't miss it. And I needed to know, what's The Rock doing or what's Tyler Hines doing? Like, I need to know.
What's going on? That was like country music for me. I made fun of it at first in high school, and then I was like, Yeah, but it kind of gets its claws in you,
You
like
fall into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a small part in one called Love, Fall, and Order with Cahill.
Oh, was that was that on the Mystery Channel too?
Probably, yeah. Probably. Love, Fall, and Order. I'm in the opening scene. I'm the opposing lawyer for this particular
I
one.
feel like I saw that one because if it was in like the fall harvest, I definitely watched it.
Yeah, it was a fall it was a fall one.
Because my dream is to just be the either annoying sister or quirky best friend in one of these movies, and that's my new goal in life.
We're gonna make it happen whenever there's a casting. You can at least submit tape.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic. Yeah, every time we watch one of the movies and there's the crazy townswoman in a sweater that seems to be way too involved in the lead's life, that's Kristin. I always text her and I go, that's you. That's a perfect part for you.
Well, a funny story about this is Patty Murin, who played, I forget her name on it, but like the kind of zany best friend.
Yeah.
She was Anna on Broadway.
In Frozen. Of course, yes. Yeah.
She, big time Broadway star who just loved Hallmark films and actually got the gig via tweet. Was like, when are we going to make this happen? And then it just kind of collaborated, and she ended up on this set with us. And she was such a sweetheart. And we actually went down one of the days that we had a couple of days off and saw her in Frozen, and it was really cool.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. She was a fun character. She got a good role.
She's a joy to follow on Twitter and Instagram too. So
yes,
Yeah.
and I think she did another one since that, because people just love these movies.
Yeah.
It's endless. I think we were speaking to it earlier of just like that formulaic sort of thing, particularly in a world like we're living right now. It's very nice to know what from A to B what's going to happen, and that you question it, and that it's going to be a great thing. And I love it's comforting.
It is comforting, and it does bring this kind of familiarity, and there's certain tropes that, like, in certain respects, they play out in our lives, or we live through them in these sort of things, and they often end up with happy endings, which is what we inherently want. So it provides this kind of joy.
It's so cool.
Will, if you're ever on a set, and whether it's in the script or they bring it to you on the set, I need this to happen just for Kristin's benefit. If they say, listen, they bring a ladder out towards a Christmas tree, and the female actor is going to climb up and fall into your arms, that is Kristin's bread and butter, speaking of tropes. That means it automatically becomes her favorite film of the year, without a doubt.
Falling off the ladder into the arms of
It's the rarely used trope, but so far this holiday season, there have been 3 ladder appearances or mentions, but no climbing up and falling off yet. So we're fingers crossed. We're hoping it's still going to happen.
The ladders are sturdy. They need to...
It's absurd. Also, if you're out there in the world and you ever get to act with Tyler Hines, please let him know that I'm married but interested.
Okay, I will. You got a hall pass for Tyler Hines. Gotcha.
Will, is there anything that we can plug for you?
My TV show Random Acts is on BYUtv. Season 6 is airing right now.
Awesome.
Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then 4 p.m. Pacific. It's a great, fun-loving show about just doing nice things for people. And then, other than that, you can follow me on my socials. I'm at Will Rubio across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just type in that/Will Rubio and you'll find me. I do funny stuff. I make funny videos and other things. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen, man, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this with us. Thank you for putting on the Kool-Aid sweater.
I think you get the whole view of it here.
Oh, it's so good.
There it is. It's so
so
good.
good.
Now I want one.
I love it.
Well,
Awesome.
Thank you, Will.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, Kristin.
Yes, Kevin.
We're doing another live show this Thursday, December 10th at 8 p.m.
That's right. We've got 2 very special guests. We've got Langston Darby, and we also have one of the actors from Married by Christmas, Lauren Pritchard.
They're going to be here with us live as we review Christmas in the Evergreens. It's one of your favorite series, Kristin.
I love it. The red truck will be there. The mayor will be there. Everyone will be there.
That's right. This one is Bells Are Ringing. So we'll be reviewing it. As we said, we have some special guests. We'll have some contests. We'll have some other surprises.
We always have surprises, Kevin, but we don't even know what they are. So they're still surprises to us. And
What a
that's
big
the
surprise.
surprising part.
So join us this Thursday, December 10th at 8 p.m. You can get tickets at comedysportsphilly.com, as you see below. Or you can go to csetix.com and join us for a live show of Remark.